I think the biggest problem facing our inner city youth today really is education, and a sense that their pursuit of a good education is going to truly make a difference in their lives. Better jobs, higher living standards. So I think it's breaking the cycle of despair and a feeling that whatever I do, it's really not going to make a difference. That has to change.
A Paris food distributor, a supermarket chain in Alsace-Lorraine, a Barcelona ice cream factory, a group of hypermarkets in eastern France, a Dublin snack manufacturer, a retail food chain in Paris. These are some of the elements in Beatrice International, one of the world's largest food companies. In 1987, Beatrice International Foods set a financial record as the largest international LBO to date. The buyer was TLC Group, an investment partnership headed by Reginald F. Lewis.
Hi, Faye. How are you?
Lewis formed TLC in 1983. Within a year, Lewis spotted a singular investment opportunity. McCall Pattern Company, a 113-year-old business whose market was shrinking. An industry leader with less and less competition, McCall, a manufacturer of patterns for sewing, was ripe for a leveraged buyout.
I'm Beverly Shook on Wall Street, and on this edition of Pinnacle, you'll meet this deal-maker extraordinaire who, despite his soft-spoken manner, has moved aggressively into the spotlight. The 45-year-old chairman of the TLC Group, Reginald Lewis.
Today, he is successfully playing the takeover game, but played a very different game as a young boy growing up in Baltimore. Reg was a high school superstar athlete whose desire for higher education won out over professional sports. Lewis finished his education at Harvard Law School and began his career at a prestigious New York law firm. Within a few years, he was on his own, co-founder of the Lewis & Clarkson Law Firm, a firm specializing in venture capital. It would be his springboard into business.
Lewis said his family's support was the key to his success, and he started working as a paper boy at 9.
Lewis said that it was his family's influence that was his source of strength. They taught him to do his best, to have courage, to have compassion. They gave him faith, balance, and heart.
I have always been motivated by a strong, keen desire for independence, true independence, and a sense of achievement. And I think I owe that to my family. I owe it to a wife of 19 years, who is probably the least materialistic person that I know, and I'm indebted to her for that.
My sister was going out on a date, and her date said, "I'll fix a blind date for your sister." Sa blind date na yun, I think we hit it off very fast.
Very well.
Talagang ka-chokran.
Okay. So soulmates talaga?
Soulmates, yes. In that sense, soulmates. But I had no idea I was going to get married. Ang talagang plano ko, hindi mag-asawa. Ako ay magiging parang Helena Benitez.
Okay.
You know, public service.
Okay.
He was in a private law firm.
Okay.
Okay, so hindi siya business, walang business walang business pa.
Okay, at that time.
At that time. Kaya nung nag-usap kami, you know, tamang-tama, lahat non-stop. Ang naaalala ko, non-stop ang aming pag-uusap on that first date. Little by little, I got to know him. I got to know that he is very masterful. And as we continued to date, I understood how his ambitions, mas ambitious para gesa sa akin. When he bought TLC Beatrice International Holdings Inc., this was, you know, 64 companies in 31 countries. We moved to Paris. The life of the rich and famous.
Suddenly, this was your life.
Suddenly, it was my life, and I know that if I did not go back to my spirituality, to who I am, I will lose perspective. So I did. I joined the prayer group. And I think that changed me. And because I got changed, he changed. We fell in love with each other again in a mature way.
What I've found is that if you have a core set of values, like family, like hard work, like trust, and these are things that will stay with you even when you may be having a difficult time in a specific problem. But if you maintain the core values, you can generally ride through any particular problem, and then in the end will be able to be pleased with the result. I don't think money is the important issue. I think the idea of doing their best, working hard in school, listening to their parents, doing the best they can, and getting a sense of achievement.
And these early achievements fueled a drive to succeed and become one of the most successful businessmen of our era. A courageous entrepreneur, a generous philanthropist, a loving family man, and an inspiration to people all over the world.
When you hit bottom, when you are in your darkest night, there's no other person to face but your God. In my darkest night, there was God's light.
You found His light.
Yung rat race sa Amerika, nakakalimutan ng Diyos. And I will have to say, I forgot. I didn't even go to Sunday Mass because of all the allure. If I did not go back to God, I really would not know who am I. Okay, so siguro yun ang God's way of letting me come back to Him. Masakit. Sakit na sakit. But it's God's will. And I have accepted it.
Loida, how did you feel when you inherited the empire?
Well, unang muna,
Okay.
I had to make the decision to take over. And since my brother-in-law was running it, initially, he was the one appointed by my husband, so I didn't want to. But then nakikita ko tumatabingi. You know,
Okay.
our earnings were starting to go down, and then our expenses remained very, very high. You know, so if you continue that trend, bankarota, you'll be bankrupt. We hired a headhunter. Sabi ko, teka muna, I interviewed this and this and this. Baka mamaya, hindi din marunong. Baka mamaya, they'll fail. You know, so sabi ko, mabuti ako na lang. So on the day of the board of directors meeting, after prayer, very clear na sa mind ko, I'll take over. It took me 1 year
To decide.
to decide. But once I decided, that was it. That's the right decision. But I must tell you, my first board meeting, syempre, daunting. That's the first time I'm holding a board meeting with all of these men and one daughter. Basically, you know, I have faith. You know, kaya kito. But hindi sa alam ko lahat. Okay, so I ask a lot of questions. Some people may think it was dumb questions. It's not dumb, hindi ko alam eh. I asked, I listened.
When you took over?
When I took over, only what my husband always says, increase the value of the company. When I took over, it was like 22 million loss. Alam mo, you don't look behind eh. Always look forward.
Okay.
Okay, so first year, 1 million net profit. Second year, 9 million third profit. Third year, 14 million net profit. Fourth year, I had to sell the company. I had to liquidate. Dahil sa France, there was an obligation that was getting bigger every year. So I sold our supermarket in France. 450 supermarkets from Prix and leader price.
Was it painful for you?
It was a painful decision because I knew it was the start of the liquidation, and that was my husband's company. But actually, what he was going to do before he died, he was preparing to sell the entire company.
He had already shared these plans with you.
Yeah, he always talks about it. You know, one thing that I did well, I listened well. Sabi ko nga, eloquent listening. You listen eloquently. Ibig sabihin, you're active.
Yes,
You
yes.
absorb it. And so I remembered he saying that.
So you sold?
I sold everything. I sold the potato chips in Ireland. I sold the ice cream company in Italy, in Germany, in France, in Denmark, in Canary Islands and in Spain. And I sold the supermarket business. Yun ang una kong well, that was the biggest one that I sold. And then finally, the bottling company in Belgium, and distributed the proceeds to the shareholders.
And they were happy.
They were happy. Now, I set aside a small amount to invest in a business that I would want, which is still the food industry.
Okay.
Okay? My family here has always been saying, Loida, invest in the Philippines. So I invested in Sorsogon, where I grew up, which was the Lewis College. I invested in a small hotel with the Duran family, the Fernando's Hotel. Then we built up a 34-stall mall sa Sorsogon Mall na yun.
So you started in your hometown.
Yeah, in my hometown. And then a pig processing, a hog slaughtering plant in Naga. So all in Bicol. So those are the things that I've been doing.